Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a plant-based cook, entrepreneur, and author of the New York Times best-selling cookbook, Joyfull. Cook effortlessly, eat freely, live radiantly. Her latest project is the podcast, A Really Good Cry. We welcome Radhi Devlukia.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely great, Radhi. This is a safe space, and it is okay to cry. Let's go beyond the mic. You dive into vulnerability with your guest and yourself in A Really Good Cry. When did you struggle first with your own vulnerability and allow yourself a really good cry?
Yeah, good question. I would have to say from a young age, I think I never wanted my family or my friends to see me cry because I always had this mentality of being a fixer. I always thought I could be the one that would make people laugh and keep everything light and, be the bridge between anybody in my family when they're arguing. I always felt I took this position of being kind of like the joker of the family and keeping things happy and light. And so I noticed from a young age that crying and releasing sadder emotions, I used to find quite difficult because I didn't want people to think that they needed to help me. And so as I grew older, I realized how much that was storing in my body and how I was releasing in ways that I didn't want it to. And so honestly, now I have a really good cry pretty much every other day or like at least once or twice a week, depending on how I'm feeling. And it has made such a difference. And, it doesn't have to be crying. You just have to learn how best you release emotion from your body because emotions aren't meant to be stored in our body. They're meant to be processed and let go of.
As you go through conversations with celebrities, scientists, experts, and more, you want others to find comfort.
Definitely.
Where do you find comfort in your own life?
I find comfort in conversation, honestly. When I think about if I've had a low day or if I've had something wrong, I'll pick up the phone, I'll call my mom or I'll speak to my husband about it. Having these intimate moments of conversation with people not only brings you closer because it allows you to exchange your heart and tell people how you're feeling, but it also helps you to process it with somebody else. And so I find comfort with people, but also in solace when you have time to think through what am I feeling? What's my body feeling? What's my mind feeling? How are my emotions? So taking moments of alone time throughout the day where I have moments of reflection really helped me to find comfort too.
Radhi Devlukia is the creator of the podcast, A Really Good Cry. And Radhi joins us beyond the mic for the Rocky Nate. All this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Radhi, there is no pressure.
All right, let's do this.
Favorite flavor of Junie?
Oh, raspberry.
How many books have you read this year and how many do you read at one time?
Oh gosh, I've been reading minimum of 5 books at a time. And right now, the book that I'm reading is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it is absolutely brilliant.
Radhi, what's the one thing you depend on your husband to do?
Oh, I depend on him, honestly, to handle anything to do with numbers, accounting. It's just something that I can't seem to get my mind around. I'll help make the money, but I don't like dealing with it.
How many books of journals have you filled out in your life? And when was the last time you read your first journal?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I'm a bit here and there with my journals. Sometimes I'll write them and throw them away because I don't want to look back at them. So I last looked back at a journal from, I think, 2014 when I went back home to my parents.
Now, you asked this of your listeners, so I'm going to ask it to you. What's something that's happened to you this week that made you smile?
Oh, what's something happened to me this week? Oh, I was in a really bad mood the other day and I was driving and I was like in my thoughts and suddenly I looked up and this older lady, I think she was in like her 70s, was just like smiling and waved at me. She didn't know who I was. And it just made me realize the power of, and it completely changed my mood at the time. And so it made me realize the power of just sharing an exchange of eye contact and smiling at someone can make such a difference to their day. And it did for me too.
The power of a smile. How many apps on your phone do you use on a daily basis?
How many apps? Gosh, I would say at least six, if not more.
Be honest. What's harder for you? Saying nice things about yourself or saying nice things about others?
Oh, saying nice things about others. I think you get used to deflecting when people say nice things about you.
Radhi, what's the one thing people buy that you think is a total waste of money?
Oh, that I think is a total waste of money. Oh gosh. This is hard. Oh gosh, I can't think of anything. I feel like it's just so subjective because people really feel things are good spend of money, even if I don't. What's one thing that Jay spends money on? Let me think. Make it more direct. Okay, watches, because you have a phone and it tells you the time.
Her podcast is A Really Good Cry. It is Radhi Devlukia, and she joins us for the back half Beyond the Mic. What does a really good cry feel like?
Oh, like a release, like physically, mentally, emotionally. It's like a weight that is completely left your body. I feel that way. It can be quite exhausting though as well. Like you feel quite tired afterwards after having a good cry. But I think it's kind of that joy that your body's feeling after having let go of something that's been so heavy on you for a long time. And so it feels lighter, like there's better coming your way, and also a little bit exhausting.
You've partnered up with the UN World Food Program to support gender equity for a zero hunger world. Why does that topic touch your heart so much?
You know, I grew up going to India regularly, almost every year, and I think that, and also living in even New York for a short period of time, I really saw what hunger looks like for people, and how difficult on a day-to-day basis it is for people to make ends meet. And so I think having grown up seeing that and then experiencing it on a daily basis, I think, especially because I'm in an industry where I share food so much, and the indulgence of food, it's something which I find really sad that, you know, everybody doesn't have just food and water, the basic necessities that we need to live life. And so whatever small way I can help with that, I think it's my duty to, after the industry that I'm in.
How has A Really Good Cry changed the way you look at the world?
It's made me so much more compassionate to everyone. You know, we all have different things that we are working on, different things that we're going through. You just have no idea. And so I think every time I have a cry or I see someone that's struggling, I'm like, you know what they need? They just really need a good cry. Like they really just need to release something from them. And it's them seeing the world through all the things that they're holding inside of them that's changing their perspective or making them see the world in a different way. And so it's definitely helped me to see people and life with a clearer eye.
What are you still holding inside yourself still?
Oh, what am I still holding inside? You know what? Honestly, I was talking about this yesterday, and I was on tour about a month ago for my book, and I was living on such a high performance rate where I feel my body and my mind were in so much anxiety, constantly doing things that I wasn't used to, putting myself into uncomfortable situations, going on TV things and stuff that I find very nerve-wracking. And I think I'm still holding on to a lot of the anxiety. I can feel my body is not quite yet relaxed back into a normal state. And I think I'm working on that because I find I'm still quite high strung from having gone through that moment of time where I was working at quite an intense pace. And so I'm still working on releasing some of that.
It's time for One Big Question with Radhi Devlukia. She is the host of A Really Good Cry Beyond the Mic. When was your darkest day of your life, and who helped you face that adversity?
The darkest day. You know, I don't know about the darkest day of my life. I do think that I think about what that will be, and I think it's always to do with loss of people in my life. I haven't quite had, and I think about this pretty much every day since I moved away from home. Every morning I wake up and I check my phone to make sure everybody at home is okay, because I live in the US and they live in the UK. And there's definitely more moments as I get older where every day I realize I think about death quite a lot, because you know, it's getting closer and closer to times where I'm probably going to lose the people that are the closest to me. And so I don't think I've had my darkest moments in life, but I can feel that the moments will obviously be coming. I don't know how I will feel in that moment, but I know I'm going to try and process it and work through it in the best way I can.
She recently found out the power of a smile, hates accounting, and wants you to listen to A Really Good Cry. Radhi Devlukia, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the thoughtful questions.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.